What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about choosing the right adhesive for the right climate that you're living inside of. So if you're using hair systems, wigs, all of these things, you're going to have to use either tape or potentially adhesives. Now there's a couple different adhesives. There are water-based adhesives, there are silicone-based adhesives, and there is acrylic-based adhesives. These are all in the subcategory of soft adhesives as opposed to hard bond adhesives. Now each of these adhesives is a particularly good choice for different situations, and a large part of that is the ecosystem which they live in, right? So depending on if you live in a cold climate, a medium temperature climate, or a high temperature climate, they each have their benefits and some of their drawbacks. All right, so we're going to look at which is the best for each of these conditions. So let's start with cold first. Now what we mean by cold is below 50 degrees. So this is the northern United States, northern Europe, especially during the winter, when temperatures are starting to get cold and down near freezing. So the ideal adhesive for this temperature is a water-based adhesive. These do better in cold climates, and they're easier to clean up than their acrylic or silicone counterparts. Now, the thing to consider is that in general, water-based adhesives have shorter lifespans. You can't get the same, not you can't, but you're not likely to get the same duration out of a water-based adhesive as you would out of acrylic adhesive. And acrylic adhesives in general are harsher on the skin, causing more dryness, right? So during winter, you're much more likely to experience the effects of acrylic adhesives because of the fact that they are harsher, and cold weather often brings about dry cold weather, which is very harsh on the skin. So this might not be ideal for you if you live in a cold environment. That is the acrylic adhesive. Next up, we have the kind of mid-range temperatures, so about 50 degrees to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this is a sweet spot for hair systems and adhesives where you can pretty much choose anything that you want based off of the different lifespans and sensitivities to ingredients and so on and so forth. So in this place, you can really choose between a water, silicone, or acrylic adhesive. It is up to you. This is really the range that adhesives function best in. If we start getting into below 50 into cold weather or above 80 degrees, we're starting to get to the extremes of what adhesives can really handle. And chemically, they start to do different things, right? If you ever took basic chemistry, you probably saw that each chemistry tends to work best. Things bond better at certain temperatures. So this right here, if you live in a part of your country that has this weather most often, you are in luck, because this is the perfect temperature for really any type of adhesive. If you do have more oily skin, you might want to be trying a acrylic or a silicone based adhesive over the water based. This is just something that is a rule of thumb, but you still have to experiment for yourself. Now, lastly, if you are living in a very hot temperature, so above 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which I do because I live in Florida at the moment, and almost every single day and every single night is about 80 degrees. The best choice for you is going to be using a acrylic adhesive. Acrylic adhesives work best in hot and humid conditions because they are actually designed for use in these environments. Chemically, they are formulated to withstand these types of sweaty, hot, humid environments, and also they're designed to have a harder bond. These acrylic bonds in general tend to last longer than their water-based counterparts, with many people reporting that Ultra Hold by Walker Tape lasting 4 weeks or more, depending of course on their own body chemistry and factors, as opposed to their water-based counterparts sometimes only lasting about a week or more. So remember though, it is not just strictly about how long the hold is. Of course, we all want to get the longest hold, and when we are doing this, it is highly recommend that you use a Max Hold Sport. This is like a preparation tool that Walker Tape uses, which creates a bond in between the adhesive and your scalp. But the other factor of it is, of course, is protecting your skin. And these acrylic adhesives are harsher on our skin, so we want to remember that just because we can get a longer bond, that might not be appropriate for our skin, and we don't want to create skin problems, because breaks in the skin are one of the quickest ways for our body to ingest foreign things, foreign chemicals, along with our blood. But there's a direct skin to blood barrier there that exists. So we want to be careful about what we put on our skin and what is being permeated through our skin, because we don't want, not that these chemicals are unsafe or they're supposed to have a lot of side effects, but we just want to be as careful as possible. We want to take care of our body. So with that being said, this is one of the things to consider when you're going through and searching for what the proper adhesive is for you. Definitely take a look at the temperature range that you live in, and also factor into things like sweating, right? So if you're a physically active person, you're going to want to pick something that's designed to withstand that, so that way you're not getting lots of bond breakdown where it can either turn white, like some water-based bonds do, or start running and start like leaking down through the hair system, or potentially up through if you're using a lace. So I hope that was informative for you in helping you choose exactly what the correct adhesive is for you. There is a lot of trial and error at the current moment. I'm working on some stuff right now to hopefully make that a little bit easier for you. Some systems to test out, which is going to be really exciting. But for the current moment, this is how things are, and we've got to do a little bit of trial and error. So go forth, everybody, and we'll talk soon.